where you guys are at defensively. I know you still think there's a lot of work to be done, but where you're at right now, can you gauge yet if it's about where you thought you'd be, or if you're ahead of pace or behind? Or
yeah, I would say that the good thing about what's happening right now is I think the kids believe in what we're doing, and that we're making progress in the areas of the discipline part. Making sure they know where they're supposed to be. I think they learned a valuable lesson at Kansas State. Kansas State beat us, but we didn't play our game in that ball game. And I think they learned something from that. And I think that will help us down the road as we go forward, because, hopefully, they understand what we need to do. I think they understand the attitude part of it, of playing through to the fourth quarter. And, that's where we're at. Some things are personnel issues,
Sure.
Some of it is not what we do or what we don't do. So we have to get these guys to play as well as we can, and that's been the goal from the very beginning for me.
Yeah.
And we've got to contribute to us winning, and that we haven't done that yet.
Sure. Is there time during the season to really worry about your pace, or is it something where once it's all over, you look back and say, this is how we did?
Yeah, I think we have to look back that way.
Okay.
I think we look within our own unit.
Yeah.
We talk about what do we need to do. Every week we talk about what do we need to do to contribute to a win, and what do we need to do to make sure that we're going forward, not backward. And sometimes when you've got a new program and you've got new people, sometimes you take a step backward, instead of taking all the steps forward. Hopefully you take 4 steps forward, but you don't take 4 steps back when you take one back. You only take 2 steps back. And then if you take 4 steps forward, the next time you're 2 steps ahead.
Right.
And that's the approach that we try to take, every week. And until we start winning, that's the approach that we're taking.
I know you don't do moral victories, but last week, in the fourth quarter, you guys made several stops and made some plays, things we haven't seen your defense do a lot. Does that carry over?
We hope it does. That's what obviously we're talking with that in mind. But you have to remember another thing, that every game is different. It used to be that people thought that, well, you beat Oklahoma. And Oklahoma beat Kansas State, and you should beat Kansas State. But it doesn't work that way, because it's all about matchups, who matches up with who. A lot of times, you can be a really good defense and have, there's going to be weaknesses in any defense. And you get up against somebody, for example, that's a great receiver, and you don't have a matchup situation, that game can turn into one that you don't win, or you don't play as well as you'd like to. So the attitude part of it, though, is what we're pushing for, and that's hopefully that our guys understand that. We've had a spirited week of practice. I think the guys felt good about the way they ended the ball game, even though we feel terrible. We have a gut ache that we didn't win.
So what's the difference then between Oklahoma State and Oklahoma?
Well, I think they're similar. I think they're both tempo teams. I think that Oklahoma has a very, very athletic offensive line. And, getting the big people in this league is the toughest thing, in my opinion, because the skilled players all want to come to this league. But the bigger people, you've got to fight everybody in the country for. Well, I think Oklahoma's done a good job, as Oklahoma State has. But I think Oklahoma's got some athletes there that are pretty darn good. I think everywhere else, Oklahoma State had skilled people. These guys have got skilled people. I think Landry Jones speaks for himself. I think that's an added plus for sure. Even though Oklahoma State's quarterbacks are good, this guy has been mentioned in some Heisman Trophy circles, and I don't know that that's going to happen, but I know that he's been mentioned. So, I think they have a guy that can lead them, and they have some athletic guys, especially up front.
There were some times, I don't know the specific times, but when they, like as you mentioned, that tempo, when they really move quick, especially on third downs and short yardage distance, it really got you at times. A, how do you feel you reacted to that? Did you shift anything to kind of deal with that, and how do you deal with that going forward?
Yeah, we really haven't done very well in the third and shorts. That's the ones that's got us, more than anything else. I felt really good. I felt calm, really, for the first time in that game, to be honest with you. I felt calm that we were getting lined up where we needed to get lined up, and that there was not a lot of looking around and pointing and all this kind of stuff. We still have a ways to go there. I think we're getting better at it, and I think that's what happens. That's a learning experience for all of us. Especially me. I look back at the Northern Illinois game, and I felt like a chicken with his head cut off sometimes in that game. To be honest with you, I mean, we're all in this thing together. It's not all the players; it's the coaches as well. And I felt like we were making progress really for the first time in that game last week.
Jake Love, does he kind of fall into a pleasant surprise category, or did you kind of see that he could maybe give you a lift this year?
Yeah, I tell you what, I think he played extremely well in the ball game. I mean, I think the guy, for a young player, he plays really hard, and again, it's not just about playing hard, it's being where he's supposed to be, and he did a pretty darn good job, I thought. And I think that kind of effort, when you get involved in as many tackles as he got involved in, that sparks the ball club in itself. And I think he's I would have to say he falls into place. Now again, that's after really that was his first real shot out of the blocks as far as playing time. So, it's a consistency thing that you're looking for. But you'd have to say that he would be in the Heaney class as far as coming out of nowhere and playing pretty darn good.
So is it motor with him, the speed he plays? I mean, that's what stands out?
I think that stands out. But I think also, again, it's not just about the motor. It's about, you just can't run all over the place and not know where you're going. And I think he did a pretty good job of trying to, be where he's supposed to be. And that's how you make a bunch of plays,